Hello and welcome. The goal of this podcast is to get listeners connected with others in the sports industry because they say it's all about who you know, and now you know us. Hey, everybody, this is your host, Connor, and today you're listening to the Constant Sports Podcast. This podcast is committed to connecting you with other sports professionals because they say it's all about who you know, and today, Pierce McClurkin. How's it going, Pierce?
I'm good, Connor. How are you?
Doing good. Just another day in paradise.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're probably more in that saying probably fits you more as you're in Southern California, and I'm
Oh,
currently in hell in
yeah,
Arizona. So
no, I bet. I mean, the weather's been a little weird this year in LA, but I assume it's definitely better than Arizona right now.
yeah, a little hot right now. It's a one. Let's see, 113. So a little toasty today, but we'll make it out alive.
Yeah. I was in Vegas for the summer league this past week, and it was like that too. So
Yeah,
definitely glad to
yeah.
be back in LA.
No, for sure. Yeah, and we'll hit that in a minute. Talk about the summer league and some of your work here. So for the viewers and listeners, Pierce has worked throughout the sports industry with the Los Angeles Rams, Rock Nation. He's at summer league, as you just mentioned, Disruptive Sports. He was at the University of San Francisco Sports Management Program. So we'll dive into all of that and more during this episode. So I guess Pierce, just to kick it off, what made you want to kind of get into the sports industry? Did you play sports? What was it about the sports industry that kind of got you excited?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been playing sports all my life. I went to Cal Lutheran for my undergrad, which is Division III in Thousand Oaks, and I played football there for 3 years. So, yeah, sports was just always a part of my life. It was just something I was always interested in getting into, whether it was playing or being on the business side or experiential side. I kind of always had a passion for athletes and just getting into that realm in general.
Yep.
And then also like just growing up, seeing Kobe Bryant and all these different Reggie Bush, all these different athletes that
Yep.
had like a big effect on me. I just knew how important it was for athletes and just people in general who are in the sports industry. I just realized how important it was for them to be like role models and just good people for, younger kids to look up to. So yeah, that was kind of my main reasons for wanting to get into the industry.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Commendable right there. And so as you played it, football, you were saying, what parallels have you seen from being a college athlete now into kind of the real world as
Oh
as
yeah.
we're in?
Yeah, well, I would say one of the most important things is just like attention to detail. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, as an athlete, it's to always get here on time and do
Yeah.
this on time, lift this certain amount of weight, just do all these different things, run this route at 12 yards. You can't run it less or longer because I play receiver. So, just all those things really made me just realize how important the details are. And I mean, it goes the same in the business world. Like, you send
Mhm.
this email out at this time, do this at, you want to have anything you're doing, you're going to have specifics to it, and
Yeah.
like those little things seem small, but they obviously play a big part. And yeah, I think that would be the biggest parallel and the biggest thing I've taken into the business world.
Right. Yeah. And there are a lot of transferable skills, you know,
Mm-hmm.
from sports, I guess, athletes or whatnot, and the
Yeah.
transfer over that are perfect. So is that kind of how you got your foot in the door with the Rams, or had you kind of come about that opportunity?
Yeah, well, I was working at Sports Academy, Mamba Sports Academy in
Yep.
Thousand Oaks. And that was due to it's just like you said, it's all about who you know. My
Yep.
one of my dad's friends, he was actually in charge of kind of like the football combines training.
Mm.
So while I was at Cal Lutheran, which is also in Thousand Oaks, he hooked me up with a job at Sports Academy. And then through there, I met a couple people and met the same guy. And then we also ended up doing some work with the Rams and basically running like their youth camps and stuff
Yep.
like that. So yeah, it was all through kind of that area, Calabasas, Thousand Oaks is kind of
Mm.
like pretty hidden, but it's like a pretty it's a football center area. So there's a
Gotcha.
lot of opportunities there for young people to get involved with football. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of just going through college, just networking, and yeah, just got an opportunity to work with the Rams for a whole summer, so it was great.
Yeah. What were some? I'm just curious. What were some, I guess, takeaways or something that you're like, wow, that was pretty cool opportunity that maybe some other people didn't get to haven't experienced, I guess.
You talking about with the Rams?
Yeah, with the Rams, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was doing their youth camp, so I think what I really just saw was how big the Rams organization was. I was
Right.
kind of this was my sophomore year in college, I think, and I think I just saw how much. I mean, I obviously we see the Rams on TV, we know it's just a football team. They
Mhm.
play every Sunday, but I think when I got to see that, I realized how big of an organization is.
Yeah.
They have like community relations guys, social media managers, and like I think that was like my first up close experience with how much of a business football is,
Yeah.
and how like they throw a lot of money out at different ventures and different things. So I think that was one of the biggest things I got from that is just how much of a business the NFL is and just what they're yeah, I think that was the biggest one, just how big it is and how much money they're making and how much things they do in order to like keep their image looking right, you
Yeah.
know. So I
You
think
know,
that just
it's all about the shield.
yeah, for sure is yeah. That's a true statement right there.
Well, and it's crazy. Like I think I guess like the media reports or whatnot, viewership just came out, and like the NFL had like some crazy number like
Yeah.
of the top events being viewed, like sports in the as an industry was like 44 of the top 50, and the
Yeah.
NFL was like the top four or something crazy like that. Like the
Yeah.
NFL does not mess around when it comes to business and generating revenue. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And they're making that much money. So, you know, they have to get all the best
Yep.
facilities, all of that. Everything has to be the top tier for
Oh
NFL. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. Of
I
course.
agree.
So I guess as you carried on with your career with these opportunities and whatnot, and then you found your way to the University of San Francisco's sports management program. So is
Yeah.
that did you just feel like you were trying to get I guess like the next level of education in sports? Kind of what made you gravitate toward that program?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, so I like I said, I played football and I was kind of one of those I had that athlete mindset of just playing football. I was focused on trying to start and, just all the life of an athlete, and
Yep.
then I got done and I was kind of like, what am I gonna do next? I wasn't in undergrad trying to network, trying to be in these clubs. I wasn't like really involved in the university as like a student or like as a up and coming professional. I was
Right.
more just
Right.
an athlete, So I think I really wanted to get into a program or get somewhere where I could learn a little bit more about networking and make more relationships within the sports industry. I didn't know exactly what route I wanted to take. So
Mhm.
I think I just wanted to get in there and I also had a mentor. Her name's Alexis Ramos. She works for Wasserman and
Okay.
she went to the program I went to. So, the way
Gotcha.
she explained it, I was kind of just like, I think this would be a good opportunity for me to learn more, get connected with the right people and, like just go from there. So that
Yeah.
was like my decision behind that.
Yeah, yeah. And then for the viewers that might not know, but this specific program has the two campuses, one General County, one
Yeah.
in Northern California. And you were saying before you went to the one in Northern California, is that right?
Yeah, so I lived up there for the first half of the program. I was in San Francisco at the San
Okay.
Francisco program. Yep.
And then is it a year program, 18 months, 2 years?
Yeah, it's 2 years, about
Two.
2 years.
Okay.
I think it's a little less than 2 years, but
Yeah. Cool, cool. And then just curious, is there so like as we were talking before, I went to the Arizona State Sports Law and Business program. So it was like a lot of sports marketing classes, sports and law classes. Was there a certain class that like you had like a favorite class you could say without hurting anybody's feelings in your
oh yeah,
professors?
yeah. Man, that's hard. I don't know. I think sports marketing might have been up there for me. And then our introduction class, I can't even remember what it was called. I think it was just like strategic thinking or something like
Yeah,
that. It's like the first class we take, and it's one of my favorite professors, Rich Cellini. We had him, and it was um it was about sports, but it's more like just getting you ready. Like we had to read a lot of books, and like we read
yeah,
John Wooden's book, Emotional Intelligence. Can't remember what other book, but there's a lot of good books in there that I think really like set the tone for the program.
right.
And and then we also, you were speaking about informational interviews. We had to, I forget how many we had to do. We had to do
Oh
a whole
yeah.
information. I know you know what I'm talking about. So that and then we had to write a paper on it pretty much. So like we basically had to write down what our goal was, like what job, like in our dream world, what job we want to come out of the program with. And then we had to interview all the people who we thought would be good people to
Yep,
basically follow after or learn their journey. So we did all those informational interviews and I talked to a bunch of, it was a good way to network. And it was also just a
yep,
good way to like just have a good overview of what that life of whatever job you want is
right.
about. So we did that. And I think that was like one of the best experience I had in there. Cause I mean, I think it just gave me a good opportunity. Like a lot of the people I still talk to today, I got an
Mhm.
opportunity from that. So it was like, it was a really good good class, and I think he taught me a lot. So I think that was probably my favorite class. I think it's strategic thinking. I think I can't remember. It was a
Yeah.
first. It was a while ago. So
No, yeah, I'm with you. We had one, and I think it was like strategic planning, maybe, or something similar, but it was kind of same concept. Same thing.
yeah,
It was like you had to do all these informational interviews, and it was kind of like you kind of putting your getting yourself out there a little bit. A lot of
yeah.
reach out. So yeah, similar classes there over at ASU.
Mhm.
So I guess as your time after at the program kind of came to an end or during, you did some times with some sports marketing, some of the athlete agencies or whatnot.
Yeah,
I know we talked about a little bit before about kind of the NIL and the marketing and representation side. So I guess I guess in the past with regarding NIL, where did you see? I guess did you get in it kind of early, like 2021 when it first came out?
yeah.
What's been your role kind of in the NIL space?
Yeah, well, so just to kind of give a precursor, I work for a agency called Disruptive Sports,
Hmm.
and it was so the guy who he's the founder and he's the NFLPA agent for them.
Hmm.
He went to USF, so they
Okay.
kind of like I'm sure they do the same thing for your program. They send out emails of job opportunities you can apply for and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So they sent me one and I applied and I ended up getting the position. And it was me, one other intern, and then two other people. The other like the co-founder and a guy who did the graphics.
Okay.
And so this was around, I think this was 2021, like in the beginning of 2021.
Hmm.
So it was kind of like right when NIL was coming out. And yeah, we definitely it's the Wild Wild West still, but back then it was even worse. So yeah, it was I definitely like what's going on in it, but I know it's very unregulated. So
Yeah.
especially back then when we first started, it was kind of a lot of cold calls, a lot of cold emails, a lot of
Yeah.
reaching out to just anyone you can. Because I mean, I think a lot of brands, even now, not really, but they were really interested in it just because it
Yeah.
was like the new hot topic and what everyone was talking about. Um, so yeah, it was just kind of trying to find everyone's mood on it and how much money they're willing to spend, who they're interested in. And yeah, that's mostly what it was in the beginning. But now it's kind of getting to a point where I feel like it's much bigger. It's a little more regulated. There's people who have taken advantage of it in like I think a very commendable way.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just it's a wild wild west, but I think it also gives the opportunity for people like you, like me, younger people to really get their foot in the door. If you
Yep.
could
Agreed.
find a way to get an NIL deal for a kid, or you could find a way to do whatever, like just make a marketing connection and help a college athlete, you could really find your way into agency. So I think it's good for us and like younger people, but it's like definitely changing things.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I guess when it kind of first came out, brands saw it as kind of like the new shiny toy, like you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
So like they dumped a bunch of money into it, and then
right.
2022 they were kind of like pump the brakes,
Yeah,
and now it's like I feel like the companies are like, all right, got to see the ROI, we got to see
right, right,
why we're
right.
putting all these dollars, to
Yeah,
these athletes and whatnot. So yeah, it'll evolve,
right, right, right.
as it continues to grow. But
Yeah,
I do think as you mentioned, it's basically an entire industry in and of itself that didn't exist until 2021. So as
right.
you're saying, like there's all these jobs now. There's like collectives and there's
Mhm.
software companies that run these deals, and then there's like
Yeah,
management companies. So it's really it's a plus for all those that are kind of getting into the industry. There's so many more
yeah,
jobs that have opened up.
yeah. And then people are kind of trying to say it's gonna go away or something like it, but I don't think it ever is
Yeah.
because. And then the other part of it is how the like agencies use it as a way to recruit.
Right.
So I don't think that will ever go away. So
No.
I think it's gonna keep getting bigger and like you said, more opportunities. It's a big industry. I don't think it's going away.
Yeah, no, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And as we're touching on agencies, then you did some time, I guess, with Rock. Is it Rock Nation or Rock Sports? Rock
Yeah,
Nation.
Rock Nation Sports, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, how was for the viewers and listeners, kind of how was? Did you have to interview for that? What was the process like for that?
Yeah. Well, so how did it happen for me? I was working at Disruptive Sports the whole time, and then one of my dad's friends, he I actually interviewed him on my informational interviews. So that's kind of we kept a good relationship through that, and I would hit him up every so often. And
Hmm.
he moved over to Rock Nation from the other agency he was at, and
Hmm.
yeah, he just reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in that. And yeah, it just went from there. I did an interview with him and then the head of sports, Brody Van Wagenen. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's how it went. And it was just like simple as that. The process took a while. Like they were like thinking that they want to do an intern. And so it took a
Mhm.
minute. But yeah, it just went like that. But
And
it
then
yeah,
did you do kind of like a similar type of thing, NAL kind of athlete representation, marketing stuff over there?
yeah. So it was kind of the same thing. It was a lot of that marketing and then a lot of like helping with recruiting.
Mm,
So basically, I just tried to use my network I had already built from being in LA and playing football.
right.
Just being around, just use my network to try to help them sign some guys. Pretty much,
Yeah.
that was like my main objective to do was to just like hit guys up, try to get set meetings. Yeah, it was around. I think I did it from like March, so it was like right after the combine, I think, or right or during
Okay.
somewhere like that, and
Yeah.
then through like July. So that's kind of like an off season period where a lot of like underclassmen are trying to figure out who they want to talk to and stuff like that. So yeah, I was just there, just making connections, introducing people to the agent I was working for. Yeah, it was mostly that, and then just I worked at the LA office for Rock Nation, so there's not too much football stuff going on there. It's more just one football agent. Everyone else like baseball, basketball, the music, obviously that's what they're
Yep.
known for.
Yep.
That's where most of the record label is. So
Right.
and then I was just helping out with them as well, like just anything I could do to kind of just help out over there. That's what I was doing.
Perfect. And then so as you've kind of you've been in kind of this athlete marketing,
Mhm.
representation kind of
Yeah.
spot there for a while. So what were some skills or some things that you picked up that you found beneficial to have for the listeners and viewers who are trying to go into kind of that athlete marketing, I guess, sector?
Yeah. Yeah. What I would say just be open. I think especially when you get into all these buildings, I feel like marketing is such like a free flowing industry,
Yeah.
like kind of it's about going to events and meeting people. Like you never know what brands will be interested in doing some sports stuff. So I think it's really like just networking and then Rock Nation, they have a deal with Puma. So I tried to
Yeah.
make connection with the athletes, like so just always being open, always kind of like being creative with what like people you're meeting and just like always have your marketing mind on, I think is the best like advice, always
Yeah.
be creative and think of ways you could connect certain brands to your athletes or, just always thinking like that instead of just like, meeting someone. Obviously you just want to meet them, but just always be looking for opportunities to get it back to your athlete. I would say that's like the biggest trait I learned.
Yeah. No, I liked it. Yeah, I like it. I always keep the marketing mind on. It's brilliant.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I like that a lot. So are there, kind of some I guess I don't know, books or certifications or websites or Twitter or whatnot that you kind of stay up to date with regarding the sports industry or any like
Uh,
subscriptions or whatnot.
on Twitter, I like Joe Pompliano. Is that his name?
Yeah. It's something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I love him. I think
yeah.
he's a good source for a lot of information, especially like the business behind
Oh
sports.
yeah,
He does all sports too. Like he had this whole long thread on the Masters and how much money
yeah.
they make and just the like yeah, just all the details I had no idea about. So I think him. Um, yeah, I mean I think like Adam Schefter, all those, especially
Yeah.
for guys out there who want to be an agent, like make sure to like just kind of keep track of the market
Mhm.
for like the contracts being done and just the little details because NFL contracts are kind of like they're a little bit more specific and difficult than like NBA, where it's mostly guaranteed and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I would say that like Adam Schefter, all those type of guys, I can't remember the other guy's name, but there's a bunch of them who kind of are the NFL's tickers on like who's doing what. So I
Yeah.
would say that, and then yeah, just Joe Pompliano and Sports Business Journal too.
Yep. For
They
sure.
made
Yeah.
us actually sign up for that in our program. I
Same.
remember.
Yeah. Same. We had to like pull an article for like once a week or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yep.
Yeah. Same concept. But yeah. Um, the Papliano character. He what it was that I just saw. Oh, for the Los Angeles like country club or whatever. Did you see that
Oh
one?
yeah,
That
yeah,
thread,
yeah,
and it was like that was insane. How it's like
yeah. It's like
billions of dollars
two
worth
hundred
of
fifty
yeah.
thousand dollars for initiation fee.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's good though. He has a lot of good information. I don't know where he gets it from, but
Yeah, no, he deep dives for sure. Like it has to take him weeks and weeks to get all that information on his post. But yeah, no, definitely worthwhile checking him out for sure.
for sure.
And then kind of staying in the marketing vein, so I just want to touch on a little bit kind of what you're doing now with the marketing arm. So I know I think they have offices in obviously LA, but like Chicago and so I think probably a few others that I don't know, but
Yeah, they have Dallas, I think Chicago, LA. I think they might have something like on the East Coast
in New
too.
York somewhere, I would
Yeah.
assume. Would yeah, it would make sense. So is that I feel like it's kind of like you're kind of in the marketing space as you've been with NIL, different athlete representation out of the marketing arm. So what do you kind of think about the marketing industry? It's a broad term as we talked about, but
Yeah.
in itself, um, is you where do you think it's going? Do you think a lot of are brands buying right now? Are they selling? Kind of what's your insight there?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like you said, it's such a broad thing that it's like there's no I feel like definition to the marketing world. But I mean, I'll give a couple points. I think first for just to keep it kind of on brand for like athlete marketing, I think it's going more towards like equity deals with these
Mm,
players. I think they're like whether they are versed in the marketing world or they have someone next to them who's versed in. I think a lot of guys are looking for more like instead of just the traditional compensation deals or it's like a post for 500 or whatever
right.
amount it is. They're kind of just looking more for like lucrative deals where they get a percent of the ownership or a percent of what they bring in. And, I think a lot of stuff like that is coming in to
Right.
play. I think you see
Mhm.
like Mahomes with BioSteel. I think he owns a percentage of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys who are just getting. I mean, LeBron obviously set kind of the blueprint for it,
yeah.
all the stuff he's doing, and yeah, I think that is the way that a lot of people are trying to go through. And I think that's the smartest way to go about it. I think that obviously will lead to the most amount of money.
Mhm.
Obviously, what you're doing on the field is going to talk, but if you could leverage yourself to get a deal like that, especially with a lot of these brands, I think that's the way to go. I think it also works on the brand side too because they're getting a more organic and authentic partner instead of someone who's just posting something just for because they want the money.
Yeah, agreed.
I think, yeah, if someone's gonna go into a brand and wants ownership, I think that shows that they're interested. And I think it's actually a good brand instead of just wanting some money and just wanting a marketing deal. So I think that's where the industry is headed for athletes, especially these top ones. I think Caleb Williams too. He's doing a good job
Yeah,
of just trying to like instead of just going quick, I think he's going slow and just making sure the deals he does are like strategic and setting him up for the future. So yeah, I think for that's on the athlete side, and I think just on the brand side, I think these brands are pretty interested as far as I've seen are in athletes. I
mhm.
think it's I think like we talked about in the beginning, is we see athletes they kind of are the star like people look up to athletes and entertainers more than
Yeah,
politicians and all these
yeah.
other people, you know what I mean? So I think they realize the power that they have in the reach. So yeah, I think it's a booming industry that's just gonna keep going up, I think.
No, yeah, agreed there. And I think just touching on the booming industry part, it's the Padres and the Dodgers played in Mexico. Next year they're playing in I think are they playing in Korea, South Korea? Where are they playing? Korea maybe or something like that.
I believe it.
Yeah, something like that. So like sports in general become so international now. You have the whole Wrexham soccer thing with Ryan Reynolds and whoever. So sports is only becoming more international, which is good for the brands, as we're
Yeah,
saying. So it's just opening up, a whole new, eyeball and avenue for them going forward.
right. For sure.
So, and I was curious because you're kind of in the LA area, boots on the ground there. I believe the Olympics are coming there here in a few years. So have they like put up, are they building stuff out there? Is it, their posters, anything? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, not too much posting, but I mean, it's definitely happening. And I know like a lot of people because as you know, like in the sport management programs, there's a lot of
Hmm.
variety on what people want to do, and so
Yeah,
like it's a pretty big point of subject in my program, just
yeah,
how what's that going to look like and what jobs are going to be needed and how kind of like hospitality people are going to figure it out with the hotels and all that type of stuff. So I think they're kind of slowly doing it.
hmm,
obviously the Inglewood area is kind of getting a little bit better because of the Rams going over
Right.
there. So I think it's just gonna a continuation of that. I feel like that was probably in there when they built SoFi. That was probably in their plans too. Like we need
Oh
to be
yeah.
ready for the Olympics too. So I think they're just gonna continue to like kind of be like buffing up that area.
Hmm.
And then yeah, I mean they're always building stuff out here in LA. I feel like it's a good place to have it, even though the traffic is gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think they'll figure it out. But yeah, not too much posting and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to see.
Yeah, it'll be cool. And a lot of my family still lives down in San Diego, so I'm sure they'll feel the traffic. It'll just
Uh,
put us on way down. It's going to be
yeah,
crazy up there.
yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous. But yeah, I think they'll have it handled. They could do it.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. And then just touching on SoFi Stadium a little bit, you were part of something with the Super Bowl there a few years ago.
Oh yeah. So I did the Super Bowl experience, which was actually it was at State Crypto. Well, actually, it was
Okay.
at a convention center. Actually, I'm tripping. Yeah,
The-
so it was pretty much just like the whole week preceding the Super Bowl, it was just a bunch of like activations and they had a little field where there was like a Play 60 event. It was
yeah,
just pretty much like the head and like the event center of the Super Bowl before the actual
right.
game. So yeah, I was there the whole week, yeah, before the Super Bowl.
I mean, it sounds super cool. The Super Bowl was just obviously in Arizona, so a lot of people from the program from the Arizona State program were up there, and then had some other friends that worked there, and they said it was just a super cool experience, just
Yeah.
being around there and work doing that whole thing. So I imagine
Yeah.
you had a lot of cool memories from that.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. I got to see Jerry Rice. I got to see a bunch of like cool people in there too, just from working that event.
Yeah.
So no, it was a good time.
No, yeah, it sounds super cool. And that's one thing kind of like about the sports sector, I guess, is you can work in it and it's so broad. There's so many different avenues you can go down.
Mm,
Marketing, business, whatever it is. So
yeah.
it's so many
Yeah.
opportunities there.
Man,
I did.
in
What'd you
your
say?
program, sorry, because I didn't know if your program are most of the people are they interested in kind of getting to that experiential like realm, the events. I know for my program there was like that was most of the people were trying to get into that.
Oh, like event management stuff.
Yeah, operations
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. There's a lot. I know they do like a concurrent one where it's like you can get your law degree and you can kind of get the sports master's. It's concurrent somehow. I'm probably butchering it. The director of the program is going to be mad at me, but something
yeah,
like that. You can look it
yeah,
up on the internet. So
yeah,
yeah, I think it's a lot of like we took a lot of like it's in the law school, so we had like
mhm,
4 or 5 law classes that we had to take,
yeah,
amateur law, professional sports law, all that stuff. So it's a little bit more, I guess, like law based plus a little bit business. So
yeah.
that's kind of how they operated there.
Oh,
I did want to ask you here before we wrap up in the next few minutes. So I'm assuming you're a Lakers fan growing up, kind of in that area.
sure, yeah.
Well, that begs the question. You were a Kobe or LeBron
Oh,
Laker
Kobe.
fan. Okay, see,
Yeah.
I trusted the
You know, it's
instincts.
really from
I was just
LA. They
making
say
sure.
LeBron, I don't know about him. Yeah. No, I'm Kobe all the way.
Okay. And then, so just wrapping up here, we'll kind of give you the floor. If you have any plugs or any shout outs, yeah, like I said, kind of give you the floor. Thanks for joining us today. We learned a lot from kind of your experience in the industry, and we're always looking to connect and to bring great guests as yourself on. So, kind of give you the floor here to wrap up.
Oh yeah. Man, just follow me on Instagram, I guess. This is my first name, last name. LinkedIn. Yeah, if anyone just wants to connect or talk, I'm always open. But man, I just want to say appreciate to you too. I think this is just a great idea for young people who are interested in sport management. I think like you said, it's always tell you to kind of cold call, reach out to
Right,
people. LinkedIn it's hard to do. I mean, not everyone replies. Not everyone has the time of day. If they reply, they might miss a meeting. I'm sure you've gone through that.
right.
So yeah, I think this is an easy way to connect people. And then like you're not going in dry. It's kind of like, oh, I know Connor,
Hmm.
and I want to talk to you about this and that. So I think I want to say, yeah, this is I really love what you're doing here. I think this is like something good, and I wish they would have had this when I was doing my program too. So.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
no, for sure, man. It was good meeting you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining on. And as Pierce said, if anyone, we'll link all the, I guess
Yeah, yeah.
the things here in the interview, so we would post it on there, and people will be able to connect there. So yeah, appreciate you jumping on today.
Oh no, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah.